Have you ever really thought about it? How did one single language end up dominating the entire planet? I mean, English. How did it become the global language? Well, today, we're going to dig into the incredible story behind the most powerful language in history.
So check this out. On one hand, you have English 1,500 years ago, basically a tiny, unimportant language spoken by a few small groups on an island. And on the other, you've got English today, the #1 global language. How in the world did that happen? That transformation is just a wild story of power, history, and a whole lot of influence.
Yeah, this definitely didn't happen by accident. It was the result of two huge historical waves, and that's exactly what we're going to break down right here. All right, here's our roadmap. We'll start at the very beginning, with its humble origins. Then we'll look at the first wave, empire. After that, the second wave, America. We'll break down the 5 pillars that hold up its power today, and ask the big question, will English last forever? And finally, we'll talk about what this global skill really means for you. Okay, so let's jump in. First up, its humble beginnings. Let's rewind the clock way back to a time when English was, well, anything but a big deal.
You know, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around now. But back then, the world did not run on English. Not even close. The big players were the languages of empire, of trade, of religion. We're talking Latin, Greek, Chinese. Those were the languages of power and culture. English? It was a total nobody. Just a collection of dialects spoken on a soggy little island, completely off the global map.
So, what changed everything? Well, the first major shift came from the sea. This is the story of how a powerful navy started to carry a language around the world.
Starting around the 1600s, Britain had a secret weapon. Its navy. It was incredibly powerful. This fleet allowed them to sail to every corner of the earth, setting up colonies and trade routes that would build a massive empire. And of course, wherever the British Empire went, the English language went right along with it. It got planted in really important places: India, Australia, huge parts of Africa, and America. But here's the crucial part. Even when those countries gained their independence, English didn't just disappear. Nope, it stuck around. It was already embedded as the language of government, of business, of the education system. The seeds were planted. But the British Empire, that was just wave #1. For English to become the undisputed champion, it needed a second, even more powerful push. And that came from a brand new superpower stepping onto the world stage. Picture this. It's 1945. World War II is finally over. The old powers of Europe are pretty much in ruins. But one country came out of the chaos stronger than ever: the United States. It had the world's strongest economy, the best tech, a stable government, all the ingredients. America's rise to the top kicked off that second great wave, the one that really sealed the deal for English. So this American influence wasn't just about one thing. It really rested on 5 key pillars, the 5 keys that made English absolutely essential in the modern world. Let's break them down. Pillar #1, money. Simple as that. The US dollar became the world's currency for everything. If you were trading oil, investing, doing any international business, you were using dollars. And what's the language of the dollar? English. It just became the default language for global business. All right, pillar #2, entertainment. Think about it. Hollywood movies, American music, TV shows, they completely took over global pop culture. This wasn't just selling products, it was exporting an entire culture. And suddenly, everyone, everywhere, wanted to understand the song lyrics, get the jokes in the movies. English became cool. It became the language of the stars. Pillar 3 is technology. I mean, the internet, the digital world we all live in now, it was fundamentally built in English. The first websites, the biggest tech companies, the core programming languages themselves, it was all rooted in English. It became a digital necessity. If you wanted to build the future, you had to speak its language. Next up, pillar 4, science. For humanity to make progress, scientists from all over the world need to collaborate. To share world-changing research or medical discoveries, you need a common tongue. English became that default language for scientists, doctors, and engineers, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And finally, the 5th pillar, politics. America's influence after the war made English a key language in global diplomacy. In major international groups like the United Nations and powerful alliances like NATO, English became the common ground for negotiation and getting things done. So with these 5 massive pillars holding it up, English seems unbeatable, right? But that begs the question, is this dominance permanent? Will English really last forever? Well, let's look at the numbers for a second.
Right now, there are 1.5 billion people actively learning English. That is a staggering number. It's nearly 1 out of every 5 people on the entire planet. And this isn't a trend that's slowing down. The demand is just growing stronger.
But what about any potential challengers? I mean, you might think of Chinese. It has more native speakers for sure, but it's really hard to learn, and it's not used much outside of China. And then there's AI translation, which, yeah, it's getting better, but it can't replace the nuance of a real human conversation, especially in business or diplomacy. So for the foreseeable future, English has no serious rival.
Okay, so we've been talking big picture here, empires, economics, but let's bring it all back down to earth. Let's talk about why this matters to you.
The reality is, in our world today, English isn't just a language anymore. It's a practical tool. It's a form of power. You could even say it's a form of freedom that gives you access to the entire world.
Think of it like a key. It can unlock better job opportunities. It gives you the freedom to travel pretty much anywhere. It lets you go online and learn basically any skill you can imagine from the best sources in the world. It connects you to global entertainment, and it gives you the power to start a business that can reach a worldwide audience.
It all boils down to this one powerful idea. In the world we live in, English has transformed from just another subject in school into an essential global skill for life.
So we'll end with a final thought. We've explored the history, the power behind this language. The only question left is, now that you know its potential, how will you use this global skill to shape your own future?